Today as a community, we as a nation and as a city pause to remember those who were impacted by the acts of terrorism on September 11th of 2001. We pay tribute today to the victims, we pay tribute to the survivors, and we pay tribute to the first responders and to our military. Men and women who sacrificed their own safety daily in an effort to protect the safety of others. As their tribute to those we lost on September 11th, and those who continue to put themselves in harm's way to protect our great nation, flags on all city facilities have been ordered to be at half-mast. Also, we pause today to remember and also to show gratitude to our first responders and to our service members, and later this month, Spokane will be the host city for many different veterans events, specifically for women veterans. As mayor of this great city, and as well as our public safety leadership who join me here today, we're committed to continually improving the public safety services that we provide to our citizens. Recent improvements to how we meet our citizens' public safety needs include the implementation of the first alternative response units, or ARUs, that we send the most appropriate response to non-emergency medical calls for service. We also have a collaboration between the Spokane Police Department and the Spokane Fire Department to jointly respond to active shooters and/or mass casualty incidences. Today, we're here to announce some of those changes being made in the Spokane Police Department to enhance their emergency response capabilities. I'm going to turn it over now to Chief Straub to talk a little bit about these important changes. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Before I begin, I certainly would ask that we all, despite the fact that we're all the way across the country, take a moment today to remember what happened on 9/11. Not only the fact that we lost so many people, normal civilians who just went to work at the World Trade Center, people that were on their way to work, but the hundreds and literally hundreds of first responders who disregarded their personal safety and ran into those buildings to rescue people. And one of the things that we forget when we talk about the World Trade Center incident, because we remember the tragedy, the loss of life, the fact that there was a terrorist strike both in New York and in Washington at the Pentagon, is we forget that it also was probably one of the biggest rescue missions in United States history. On 9/11, we saved in excess of 25,000 people that were in the towers or nearby the towers. It is completely appropriate that we have my partner, Bobby Williams, the fire chief, my partner, Ed Lewis from Emergency Management, here today as we discuss some of the changes that we're making in the police department. Before I talk about those changes, though, I also want to acknowledge the men and women who are serving our nation in the United States military, who continue the fight, who bring the fight to the terrorists, who bring the fight to those individuals who seek to do harm to our country. And I think we remember the 9/11 victims, we remember the first responders. We also have to keep in mind and thank every day our first responders, but also the United States military for the tremendous work that they have done to protect this country. So what we're announcing today begins with a name change. Effective today, we are changing the name of our SWAT unit to the Emergency Response Unit. Several months ago, in fact in June, we sent members of our hostage negotiation team, our SWAT team, and our training academy to New York City to study how they in fact provide enhanced public safety services to the residents of New York. Those individuals, including Lieutenant Meidel, who's the commanding officer of our SWAT team, Eric Olson, who's the captain in charge of all of our specialized units, Lieutenant Kevin King, came back and shared with us their experiences and their thoughts. And we now are moving forward with a plan that comes from within the department. We recognize that we have an obligation to provide, and we have provided for many, many years, extensive expertise and professional capabilities from a tactical standpoint. We handle somewhere between 30 and 50 SWAT, if you will, mobilizations and call-outs over the past 2.5 years. It is interesting to note that in each of those call-outs where we deployed our SWAT team, no individuals lost their lives. We were able to de-escalate suicide situations, armed barricaded subject situations, violent perpetrator situations. Our SWAT team worked using, in many cases, negotiation skills, and in other cases, less than lethal options to resolve those incidents without serious injuries to the perpetrators. Very important component, and one that we will stick with. We only had to listen to the President of the United States last night talk about the threat posed by ISIS and other Islamic militant and other organizations that are very active in other parts of the country. We have seen people from the United States go over to the Middle East to engage in insurgent and terrorist activities. We have seen some of those individuals try to make their way back into the United States. So it's important to recognize on 9/11 that we still have a terrorist threat here in this country. And Spokane is not immune. It was only a few years ago that an individual planted a bomb on our Martin Luther King parade route, and fortunately for us, the device did not activate and we were able to get to it. We still have, in this area, groups that seek to do harm to either our community or individuals in our community. So we need to be tactically prepared, tactically equipped to be able to deal with those issues. On the other hand, we are also seeing a phenomena, and a scary phenomena for us as a community and for us as a police department. It was just this morning and just a few days ago that we encountered individuals on one of our bridges. Individuals who literally are sitting on the ledge when our officers respond. Our officers are trained to try to talk them off the ledge. But one of the things that we have seen is because of the training and the professionalism and the dedication to safeguarding our community, officers going hands-on, literally grabbing people as they are about to go into the air and down into the river. That is an extremely dangerous and risky situation. It is only physics, if you will, that prevents those officers from being pulled over the edge and either suffering serious injury or potentially losing their lives. So as we expand the role of our SWAT team, one of the things that we want to do, and one of the reasons we're changing to an emergency response unit, is to give those officers the training and the equipment so that when we have an individual who is on the bridge, who literally is contemplating going over the edge, that when my officers, our officers, approach those individuals and feel that it is necessary and appropriate to grab them, to keep them from killing themselves, they are properly trained and equipped and have the ability to harness themselves, attach themselves to the bridge so they don't go over the side. So the training that we're looking at in the coming year, in 2015, will specifically focus on bridge rescue, training and equipment. We will continue to enhance our hostage negotiation training for our emergency response unit. They will receive 3 days of basic hostage negotiation training. They will additionally continue to receive crisis intervention training, as all of our officers will. As you know, about 95% of the department is currently trained in basic critical incident response training. We are now going to, in 2015, begin an enhanced crisis intervention training program. Many members of the SWAT team, now Emergency Response Unit, have volunteered for that enhanced CIT training. We will continue our medical training. We will continue to work with our partners in the fire department and their rescue task force so that we bring an integrated approach to either, God forbid, an active shooter incident or a mass casualty incident here in the city. We will continue to work with our partners at emergency management. And then we will look to our officers to give them additional skills and training as we evolve in partnership with the fire department, in partnership with the sheriff's department, so that at the end of the day, we can meet our first mission, the preservation of human life, the preservation of the life of our citizens, and the safety of our officers as we respond to critical incidents that are either violent or potentially risky for them. So I thank all of you for coming. I thank you very much for taking a moment today to remember 9/11, to remember the many, many first responders who gave their lives, and normal citizens who gave their lives on that tragic day, both in New York and at the Pentagon, and our United States military for continuing the fight and protecting our community. Thank you.